Hey Lamomet friends, Zandang here for another Update 14 video. This time I will be looking at the various maps with inside Western Gondor. And here is the general map over Western Gondor. And as you can see, the area is actually quite large. There's actually, including Paths of the Dead, 4 distinct zones from the Havens of Belfalis, Lamadon, and Blackroot Vale. Now, many of you know that I am a big map/geography fan, and so I usually try to cover the maps in each update. And here is the Havens of Belfalis, which is the probably most impressive region in this update, mostly because of Dol Amroth and Adheliand. These are both two very big port cities, which is a first for LOTRO, really. We haven't had port cities, especially ones that are in contact with Corsairs, because there will be Corsairs coming in and attacking and wreaking mayhem across this whole area, and the Corsairs actually landed on the tip here of this little outcropping peninsula. There's not much to the south here, just another little camp. The main attraction, of course, is Dol Amroth, though. And my goodness, this city is huge. Everything scale-wise is just makes this city feel amazingly big. There's a gigantic library that is right here that is multi-storied, and thousands and thousands of square feet of just books upon books upon books throughout this area. It's by far the biggest library we've seen in LOTRO, with exception to maybe that one instance, but even then I think that this might actually be a bigger area. There's the Mason's Court, which is actually a pretty big area. The Scholar's Quarter, another book type area. The ginormous Court of the Prince. This area over here is just absolutely amazingly large, and you definitely feel like you're in the presence of someone obnoxiously important, and it's just absolutely incredible. There's also Harper's Court, which is a place where there will probably be a lot of role-played weddings and ceremonies and things like that going on. And then there's something that we haven't really seen in LOTRO on any type of scale, and that is the wharf that's here. And there's actually a sea gate which has a chain that can go up and down, and it's very, very impressive. I hope that there'll be some type of instance or something that involves that actually moving, but I doubt there will be. I think it's just for looks. And there's so much in this city that seems to be just for looks. And I love the fact that they're putting in all this detail that's just there for players to explore. There's no quests attached to it. It's not attached to any kind of content, probably. It's just there for the players to explore, and I really, really like that. There are 10 districts here, and one of the really interesting ones is the Keep of the Swan Knights. And you can't go inside there yet, but I really hope you can, because it's on an outcropping. And it looks absolutely fantastic. There's going to be some great screenshots of that area there. And then we move on to Lamadon, and there's really only one main attraction here, and that's Calambel, and that's a giant city. There's a lot of just tiny farms and things like that throughout here, but the main attraction is going to be Camabel, that main city there. And there's of course another swamp. Luckily this is a fairly small swamp, but this is actually a huge zone. Each of these 3 areas, the Havens of Belfalis, Lamadon, and Blackroot Vale, feel close to about a zone and a half in Eastern Rohan, and maybe about a zone of Western Rohan, one of those subzones. So yeah, Lamadon is going to be a pretty big area. It will be interesting though if we go to East Gondor next, or if we go south. I'm guessing we'll go to East Gondor before we go south. Over to Minas Tirith and those places, but it sounds like that might actually be where we're going next. So anyway, that'll be interesting to see where we go from this zone. There's also a path in the Blackroot Vale that goes over here, but this is all closed off right now. And if we look on the bigger map, there's not really anything over there, so I don't know why that there's this path going off over here, because we're kind of like right here is where the area we're talking about. But maybe that will take us to the future areas like Pelagira and some things like that. And then we look in the Blackroot Vale. Now the Blackroot Vale is down in this area. It actually feels very much like Greece. There's trees that are like Greece that are very tall and vertical like. But there's honestly not a whole lot going on in this area quest-wise. I'm guessing that there'll be small camps that they'll be adding in later on. The main thing though is the Stone of Eric, which is a big monument from the lore, as many of you know. And there's also Morlad, which is a town that's actually fairly fleshed out. And I was surprised by that. It has very, very close streets that are very close together, and it feels like nowhere else that we've been in Middle-earth before. I really, really love that city, and I hope we see more in that style. We go up to Paths of the Dead, and Paths of the Dead is just incredible. Right now there aren't any enemies in there. I'm sure they'll add them in later or do something to make it be a little bit more interesting, but there's actually 2 cities on each side of the Paths of the Dead, and it's just incredible. You can't go to this one yet. I think there's going to be quests, it looks like, involving breaking through like a path or something so that you can get into the city, but it looks fantastic. And particularly when you come around this bend here, seeing this city just like right in front of you is just amazing. There's nothing else like it in LOTRO, and the just wow factor is huge. It's like the first time that you enter into Moria, where there's just that huge scale area where you see this ginormous height map from the height to the floor that just totally taken up. And it feels a lot like that, but in a much more sinister, evil way. So yeah, this is definitely how we're going to be entering in the zone, is through Paths of the Dead from the Kingstead region. And you can make your way down there and then through to Blackroot Vale. And then we'll go over to Lamadun, quest there, and then finally make our way to the havens of Belfalas and Dol Amroth. There are 2 islands here. You can swim out to this one right now. You can't to this one. I'm hoping that they change that to where you can get out there somehow. There were boats here and on this island that you could take to move around, but they're not actually hooked up yet. So I'm hoping that you can just take a quick boat travel over to this island and they'll put some interesting lore things out there. Because we really haven't had very many just island areas, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to have a very contained story on them. So I think it would be pretty interesting to see what they do there. But anyway, I think that I've talked about maps enough, especially if you're not very interested in them. But as many of you know who've followed my channel for a while, I'm a big fan of maps and geography in general. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and be on the lookout, especially with the new build coming next week, of some more of Gondor, and more importantly, Western Gondor, that's coming with Update 14 to Lord of the Rings Online. So anyway, till then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon.
PVMP and subscribe.